Hello students, here I am going to give a solution on the question. The question is, choose the correct order of boiling point from the given options. So the options are H2 less than He, BOH thrice less than BOMe thrice, NF3 less than NMe3 and CCl4 less than SiCl4. So these are the options, and out of these options we have to find the correct order of the boiling point. Here we are going to give the solution on the basis of the factors which decides the boiling point of a given substance. So let us go with the options one by one. We have option A as H2 less than He. So in this case, the boiling point is decided by the kind of interaction that exists between these two substances. So as we know that helium is a monoatomic gas and it is an inert gas, therefore very weak interaction lies between the two monoatomic gases as they are separated by a very large van der Waals radius. But if you look out towards this hydrogen gas, this is a covalent type of compound that contains a covalent bond by which two hydrogen atoms they are bonded together, and therefore the interaction which is due to the covalent bond is greater than that of the monoatomic gases, and therefore here hydrogen possesses more boiling point than helium. So this is not the correct order of boiling point. The correct order of boiling point can be given H2 greater than He, and therefore remember that due to the covalent bond exists between two hydrogen atoms, hydrogen molecule has the greater boiling point than that of monoatomic helium gas. So again, coming towards the second option as BOH thrice less than BOMe thrice. In these two compounds, the boiling point can be compared on the basis of the hydrogen bond. Out of these two compounds, this BOH thrice is capable to form the hydrogen bond, as the structure of BOH thrice can be given like this. Here, boron is bonded to 3 OH groups, and these 3 OH groups they are capable to form the hydrogen bond. There exists intermolecular hydrogen bonding between these molecules, and therefore it possesses higher boiling point. On the contrary, if you look out towards the structure of BOMe thrice, then in this compound there is not possibility of formation of hydrogen bond, as the hydrogen is not directly bonded to the electronegative element as an oxygen. Therefore, we must know that as this compound has greater extent of hydrogen bond, and therefore the greater boiling point is possessed by this BOH thrice and not this BOMe thrice, and therefore this option is also not the correct option. So coming towards the option number 3 as NF3 less than NMe3. So in these two compounds, the boiling point is decided on the basis of the dipole moment exhibited by these two substances. So if we compare the dipole moment of these compounds by knowing the values in dBi, as we know that the dipole moment of NF3 is 0.23 dBi and that of NMe3 is 0.612 dBi. As those molecules which possess higher dipole moment, they have the stronger dipole-dipole interaction, and therefore as we know that NMe3 has higher dipole moment, therefore it exhibits dipole-dipole interaction at greater extent, and therefore remember that due to this dipole-dipole interaction between these molecules of NMe3, it possesses higher boiling point. The extent of dipole-dipole interaction in case of NF3 is less, as the dipole moment value exhibited by NF3 is low, and therefore this is the correct order for the boiling point. NMe3 possesses higher boiling point than that of NF3. Again, we have last option as CCl4. In this CCl4 and SiCl4, the option given as CCl4 less than SiCl4. But remember that this is not the correct order of boiling point. Here, if we observe the electronegativity difference, here the boiling point is decided on the basis of electronegativity difference between the bonded atoms. As we know that the electronegativity difference between C-Cl is greater than that of Si-Cl, and due to the greater electronegativity difference between these two molecules, CCl4 possesses greater boiling point than SiCl4, and therefore this is also not the correct option. So on the basis of this explanation, we can conclude that this option is not correct, as H2 has the greater boiling point than He. So therefore, it is not the correct option, this one. In case of this BOH thrice and BOMe thrice, as BOH thrice possesses higher boiling point than BOMe3, therefore this is also not correct option. And here, in CCl4 and SiCl4, as the electronegativity difference between CCl4 is greater than Si and Cl, and therefore CCl4 possesses greater boiling point than SiCl4, therefore this is also not the correct option. Therefore, the correct option is NMe3 has the greater boiling point than the NF3, and the answer lies in the dipole moment exhibited by these two molecules. So hope you have understood this problem, and this is the correct answer for your question. Thank you. So this is the correct answer. Thank you once again. Hello students, here we have the solution for the question. So let us read the question first. The question is, which of the following statement is correct for this structure? This structure is given for the sulfuric chloride with formula SO2Cl2, and we have the options as it contains p pi and p pi d pi. It has regular tetrahedral geometry. Third option is theta 1 is greater than theta 3, and the fourth one is plane which contains the maximum number of atoms is 4. And we have to find the correct option among these four statements. So to find the correct option, let us first see the structure of this SO2Cl2, in which sulfur undergoes hybridization. So if you look at this sulfur is the group 16 element with atomic number 60, whose outer electronic configuration is given as 3s2, 3p4, and third shell contains empty d orbital which is with 0 electrons as 3d10. So in S we have 2 electrons, in P we have number of electrons 4, and D is the empty subshell, and therefore we shall write the electrons which are present in this sulfur. This is ground state electronic configuration. S contains 2 electrons, P has number of electrons 4 which are written, and D is the empty subshell. So in order to study the structure, we must know how much bonds are formed by sulfur. So by looking at this structure, we can easily conclude that sulfur is with 6 covalent bonds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and therefore to form 6 covalent bond, it requires 6 unpaired electrons. These 6 unpaired electrons are achieved in the second excited state, in which the electrons from the paired lower state, they are excited to the higher empty d states, and therefore the second excited state of sulfur is given as S with only 1 electron from 3p also excited, and these 2 electrons they occupy the higher empty orbitals as 3d. So 1 electron here, 1 here, and the remaining electrons can be given like this. So in this second excited state of this sulfur, it undergoes hybridization. The hybridization which undergoes sulfur is sp3, and therefore the hybridization shown by sulfur in this compound is sp3. So as we know that sp3 belongs to tetrahedral geometry, but here we must remember that what about these 2 electrons? So remember, these sp3 hybrid orbitals, they are bonded in such a way that one of the sp3 hybrid orbital is bonded with this Cl, okay? Another sp3 hybrid orbital is bonded with this Cl. Third sp3 orbital forms a single bond with this oxygen, and the fourth sp3 hybrid orbital is bonded with this oxygen. So therefore, there are 4 sigma covalent bonds which are formed due to sp3 dash p kind of overlap. So there exists sp3 hybrid orbital and p half-filled orbital of chlorine and oxygen. There are again 2 double bonds. These 2 double bonds, they are formed by, remember that from sulfur the d orbital is involved, and oxygen, the p orbital is involved, and therefore 2 pi bonds they are formed by p pi d pi type of multiple bond. So remember that there does not exist a p pi type of bond, and therefore the first option is ruled out, as the first option is it contains p pi and p pi d pi kind of bond. As by this explanation we know that it contains p pi d pi type of bond, but it does not contain p pi. Instead of p pi, it has sp3-p kind of 4 single bonds. Therefore, option 1 is not correct in this SO2Cl2. Second option is it has regular tetrahedral geometry. So remember that the regular tetrahedral geometry is seen when the bond angle is 109 degree 28 minutes. Remember that as we know this oxygen, and oxygen in its hybridization carries 2 lone pairs of electron. According to the valence shell electron pair repulsion theory, the lone pair repulsion is greater than lone pair bond pair, which is greater than bond pair. And therefore, the regular tetrahedral geometry is also not seen in case of this SO2Cl2. Because of this lone pair repulsion, the geometry gets distorted, and therefore second option is also not the correct statement for SO2Cl2. The explanation lies in presence of lone pairs of electrons. Now we shall come towards the third option. The third option is θ1 greater than θ3. So theta, these are the bond angles given for this compound, as θ1 is the bond angle between OSO and θ3 is the bond angle between Cl-S-O. So as we know that oxygen carries 2 lone pairs of electrons, this oxygen carries 2 lone pairs of electrons, and due to lone pair repulsion between these 2 oxygen atoms, this bond angle increases than that of θ3, and there may be the possibility of this correct statement as θ1 greater than θ3. So as per the valence shell electron pair repulsion theory, we know that oxygen repulsion is greater due to their lone pair electrons, and therefore θ1 is greater than θ3. It is the correct option. So again we look at the fourth option. It is the plate which contains maximum number of atoms is 4. As we know that the sp3 hybridization of this sulfur, it gives the geometry for this molecule as tetrahedral, and we know that in tetrahedral geometry it is a 3-dimensional geometry in which the atoms which lies in the single plane, they are 3, maximum 3 atoms they lie in the single plane, but the 2 atoms which are present in the molecule, one is present above the plane, second is present below the plane, and therefore the possibility of the existence of 4 atoms in one plane is not possible here, and therefore this is also not the correct statement. So the correct statement for this SO2Cl2 is θ1 greater than θ3, and it is due to the lone pair repulsion due to this oxygen sulfur oxygen bond. Hope this is the correct answer for your question. Option C is the correct answer. Thank you. Hello students. So let us first read the question. So I shall read the question. Give the correct order of initials true or false for the following statements. So we have 4 statements, and we have to tell these statements whether they are true or false, and we have to arrange the order. For true sentences we have to give the order with T, and for false sentences we have to mention it as F. And the statements are, the first statement is the number of electrons having L is equals to 0 is 10 in palladium. Statement number 2 is the value of effective nuclear charge, that is Z effective, for 3d electron for chromium and 3d electron for manganese is same as the number of electrons in D subset of chromium and Mn are same. Statement number 3 is multiplicity of iron is equals to that of nickel plus 2, and statement number 4 is value of L divided by N for last electron of element having atomic number 57 is 0.4, and we have to tell whether these statements they are true or false. So let us go one by one. So as we have the first statement, so first we shall discuss about the statement number 1. So statement number 1 is the number of electrons having L is equals to 0 is 10 in palladium. So for this particular statement we have value L is equals to 0. So remember that for L is equals to 0, it is nothing but the azimuthal quantum number. L represents the azimuthal quantum number, and on the basis of the quantum numbers we can predict the subshell for L is equals to 0. So on the basis of this azimuthal quantum number L is equals to 0, the subshell that belongs to L is equals to 0 is the S subshell, and as we know that S subshell can accommodate only number of electrons equals to 2, and therefore 10 electrons never be accommodated in the S subshell. Therefore S subshell can accommodate only 2 electrons, and hence the statement number 1, that is the number of electrons having L is equals to 0 in palladium metal is a false statement. So remember that in case of L is equals to 0 for S subshell, maximum number of electrons accommodated are 2, and hence 10 is the wrong, therefore it is the false statement. So remember the statement number 1 is false one. So let us switch to the statement number 2. The statement number 2 is like the value of Z effective for 3D electrons of chromium and 3D electrons of manganese is same as the number of electrons in D subshell of chromium and manganese are same. So first let us write the electronic configurations of chromium and Mn. So chromium atomic number 24, the outer electronic configuration is given as 4s1 3d5, which is the anomalous electronic configuration, and in case of Mn atomic number 25, the electronic configuration is 4s2 3d5. So this atomic number indicates the number of protons present in the nucleus, while this outer electronic configuration indicates that the number of electrons present in S and D subshells of chromium and manganese. So here we can easily observe that the D electronic configuration for chromium and Mn is same, and here we have to find out whether the effective nuclear charge, that is Z effective, is same or different for these two elements. So remember that this Z effective is nothing but the effective nuclear charge, and this effective nuclear charge always depends on the number of protons present in the nucleus. It never depends on the number of electrons. And therefore, we must know that the effective nuclear charge is always decided by the number of protons in the nucleus, not on the number of electrons in the subshell. By looking at the atomic numbers, we can predict that chromium has 24 electrons and that of Mn has 25 protons. Actually, chromium has 25 protons in the nucleus. At the same time, Mn has 25 protons in the nucleus. More the number of protons, more is the nuclear charge is seen, and therefore Mn has higher nuclear charge than that of chromium. Therefore, the effective nuclear charge possessed by 3d electrons of Mn is greater than that of 3d electrons of chromium, just because of different number of protons present in the nucleus, and hence statement number 2 is also a false statement. Therefore, we are going to write the initial as F for statement number 2. Okay, so this is regarding the statement number 2. Then we have statement number 3. Statement number 3 is related with the spin multiplicity. In fact, the multiplicity, and therefore this multiplicity is given by the number of electrons, unpaired electrons in the outermost shell. So remember that the spin multiplicity we have to find for elements Fe and nickel plus 2 as the element. So remember, we require the outer electronic configurations for these two elements. Fe with atomic number 26, the outer electronic configuration is given as 4s2 3d6, and on the basis of this d6 electronic configuration, the number of unpaired electrons are given by 4, because in d6 case, when 6 electrons enters into d subshell, one of the orbital gets paired and remaining 4 orbitals contain 1 electron each with plus half electronic spin. In case of nickel plus 2, as we know that nickel with atomic number 28, the ground state electronic configuration is 4s2 3d8, and in plus 2 oxidation state it loses 2 electrons. 2 electrons they are lost from s, therefore s orbital electronic configuration becomes as 4s0 and d electronic configuration comes as 3d8. Only electrons from s they are lost. So in case of this 3d8, the number of unpaired electrons present are 2, and hence the number of unpaired electrons in case of nickel plus 2 are 2. So remember, this n indicates the number of unpaired electrons in that particular element, and just by looking at the number of unpaired electrons, we can easily predict that in case of Fe and nickel plus 2, the number of unpaired electrons they are different. As number of unpaired electrons are different, so the spin multiplicity, or you can say that the multiplicity of that element is also different, and therefore nickel plus 2 as well as iron, they do not possess the same multiplicity, and this statement is also a false type of statement. So third statement is also false, as the number of unpaired electrons in both these elements they are different. So let us move towards the last statement as statement number 4, and this statement number 4 is the value of L divided by N. We have to find the L divided by N value. The given L divided by N value for the last electron of element having atomic number Z is equals to 57 is 0.4. We have to calculate the L by N value for the element with atomic number 57, and the electron is the last electron. So let us first write which element is it. So remember, this atomic number 57 element is nothing but the lanthanum, and the electronic configuration of lanthanum, outer electronic configuration of lanthanum is given as 4f 5d 6s. 6s has 2 electrons, 5d has 1 electron, and no electron in F subshell. So this is the electronic configuration of lanthanum. It is xenon over xenon as the preceding inert gas element with atomic number 54. These 2 electrons they constitute for 56, and this is the electron which is last electron of this lanthanum, and we have to find L and N values for this 57th electron. So on the basis of this electronic configuration, the value of N for this lanthanum is given as, so N is nothing but the principal quantum number which is 5. Therefore, for this 57th electron, the value of principal quantum number is 5, and value of L is given as, value of L is again the azimuthal quantum number for d subshell, as we know that value of L is equals to 2. As we know that for L is equals to 0, S subshell, L is equals to 1, P subshell, and for L is equals to 2, the value indicates it is a D subshell, and therefore for this D subshell we have value of L is equals to 2. So let us take the ratio of L divided by N. So L divided by N gives value of L is 2 divided by value of N is 5, and 2 divided by 5 is nothing but 0.4. So the 57th electron for element, that is the last electron, gives the ratio of L divided by N is equals to 0.4, which is the statement, and therefore it is a correct statement, and therefore it is a true type of statement. So these are the 4 statements, and we have decided whether these statements they are true or false. So we have a conclusion as first statement is false, second one is false, third one is also false. By the fourth statement, is a true statement, and hence the true order for these four statements is given as F, F, F and T. First is false, second is false, third is false, and fourth is true sentence. And this is the option number D for the given options among A, B, C and D. And this is the answer for the given question. So hope you have understood this answer, and this is the correct answer as false, false, false and true. Thank you.